I told my mom that my sister disgusts me, and I wouldn't take it back even if she begged me on her knees. It started 4 months ago, when my dad got into a car accident that shattered both his legs. He couldn't walk, couldn't drive, couldn't even get himself to the kitchen without help. My sister Marin is 27 and I'm 17. She told mom she'd handle everything since dad's apartment was only 10 minutes from her place. Mom and dad split years ago, but she still cares. She started giving Marin $250 every week for dad's groceries, medications, cleaning supplies, whatever he needed. Mom works as a hotel housekeeper, pulling back-to-back shifts. That money wasn't easy for her. Marin would call mom every few days with updates. She'd say things like, "Dad's doing his exercises. He's getting stronger." Or, "I made him that soup he likes. He ate 2 bowls." She even sent photos of dad smiling on his couch with a blanket over his legs. Everything seemed fine. Then 3 weeks ago, my friend Tessa needed help at a storage unit in my dad's apartment complex. I figured I'd stop by and surprise him. When he opened the door, I barely recognized him. He was sitting in a wheelchair in the dark. The apartment smelled awful. Dishes were piled in the sink from what looked like weeks. The fridge had almost nothing in it. His medications were sitting on the counter, most of them still full. He said he couldn't reach the kitchen half the time, so he just skipped them. When he saw me, his face crumbled. He said, "I didn't want to bother anyone. I figured you were all too busy." He told me Marin came by once the first week and he hadn't seen her since. He'd been ordering the cheapest delivery he could afford with his disability check and rationing it to make it last. He called Marin a few times, but she always said she was on her way and never showed up. He stopped calling after the 3rd time because he didn't want to be a burden. That word destroyed me. Burden. I spent the rest of the day cleaning. I did his dishes, organized his medications, and filled his fridge with my own money. I called his doctor's office and found out he'd missed 4 physical therapy appointments because nobody had driven him. On the way home, I did the math. $250 a week for 4 months. That's $4,000 of mom's money. Money from a woman who scrubs hotel rooms 10 hours a day so her family can survive. When I got home, Marin was in the kitchen making a smoothie. She looked at me and said, "I just FaceTimed Dad. He's doing so much better." She said it while blending strawberries. I didn't say a word. I walked past her and waited in my room until Mom got home. When Mom walked in, I asked her to sit down. Then I called Marin in. I told Mom everything. I told her Dad's apartment was dark and filthy, that his fridge was empty, that his medications were untouched because he couldn't reach them, that he'd missed 4 therapy appointments because nobody drove him, that he'd been rationing cheap delivery food to survive, that Marin visited once and never came back, that he stopped calling her because he didn't want to be a burden, and that every dollar Mom gave Marin went nowhere near him. Marin's face went gray. She said I was exaggerating and that she was just there last week. I pulled out my phone and showed Mom the photos. The dark apartment, the piled dishes, the empty fridge, the full medication bottles with dates on the labels, the missed appointment notices from his counter. Mom put her hand over her mouth. She looked at Marin and whispered, "He's the father of my children." Marin started talking faster. She said she got overwhelmed and she'd pay it all back. That's when I lost it. I told Mom that Marin disgusts me. I said she let our father, a man who can't walk, who can't feed himself, who can't reach his own medicine, sit alone in a dark apartment for 4 months thinking he was a burden for needing help. I said she stole from our mother, money earned on her hands and knees scrubbing hotel rooms. I said Dad stopped asking for help because Marin taught him his own family didn't care enough to show up. I told her she was the cruelest person in my life, and I meant every single word. Marin started sobbing and left the room. Mom didn't go after her. She grabbed her coat and drove to Dad's apartment. She called me an hour later, crying. She said she was staying the night. The next morning, Mom told Marin she had 2 weeks to return every cent or she'd never be welcome in our home again. Now I drive Dad to physical therapy 3 times a week. His apartment is clean. His fridge is full. His medications are in a daily organizer where he can reach them.